Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. I am Max Loeb. He is Chef Zay. We have so much to talk about, from the Week 18 game against the Bengals to Kevin Stefanski getting fired to another AFC North coach getting fired and potential head coaching candidates. Before we get into that, Zay, how crazy has this past week been for you?
It's been like we've been in Hawaii with snow.
Yeah.
You know, it's been nice over here. I'm excited. The optimism is back. You know, I felt real down over the stretch, I'm sure you know, but man, it feels good to get ready to make a lot of people mad with my optimism because it's coming.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Good.
I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds right now. I'm a little jealous. You've got the Browns, and then you've got the Giants over here who looks like they are leading the candidacy for the guy we all want.
Yeah, and I think that it makes sense, right? I think every Browns fan, I said before we hopped on here, I think most, if not every Browns fan with a pulse at least wants them to interview John Harbaugh, if not get John Harbaugh for the head coaching opportunity. But the reality is he's a little bit older, probably going to want to go to a team with more infrastructure, better roster in place now. Atlanta, Giants, probably one of those two if I had to guess. But I think he will get an interview with the Browns.
How much of a red flag is it knowing that the GM is still retained in New York, though? Because isn't that looming over? Like, it's like, well, if this guy kind of screws up again, he could be out the door, and the next thing you know, I'd be out the door. Obviously, if you're getting John Harbaugh, he probably sticks. But, like, I imagine if you're a coach looking at the Giants situation, you've got to be thinking about what's going on with the GM situation. And I guess you could say the same for the Browns.
I think that is a good point. I think Harbaugh is so well respected that he could go through a GM change like that. That to me is the case. I also think, unless it goes haywire, unless the Giants are so bad again next year, he will get more than 1 year to prove that this is the right coach. And if it's Harbaugh, I think he'll get plenty of time. But we wait to see. That is absolutely a deterrent. But like we talked about, the Browns are in the market now too. Kevin Stefanski, Browns moved on. Thought it was coming, figured not 100%, but he's gone. Andrew Berry is staying. What were your initial thoughts to news Monday morning? I believe it was the first firing on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Relieved. I thought they were going to try to find a way to drag it out. And then right before the news broke, they had the clip of Kevin Stefanski going into the office. And the first thing I could think of was just like, I would not be wanting to come in to get fired. Like, that just doesn't feel like something that I would want to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of, you know my sentiment of what I thought, why they would never be tied at the hip. You go all the way back to the very beginning of the connection when Stefanski was hired before Andrew Berry anyway. Mm-hmm. So that should have told you right there that they were never truly tied to the hip because that wasn't Andrew Berry's guy. But I do think it's kind of interesting how Jimmy Haslam came out and talked about, why they felt they should retain Andrew Berry. And he harped on a lot of things that were just this year, which, the whole Paul Podesta separation and stuff like that. It's like, I know there's a lot of bad stigma surrounding Andrew Berry, but I'm very interested to see what he can actually do, knowing that he's probably in control now. I don't think there's any question that what happens moving forward, Andrew Berry is probably the guy leading, knowing that Paul Podesta is out the building and Kevin Stefanski is gone as well.
Those comments were really interesting because we alluded to it a couple times throughout the season, him being on the hot seat. This was literally a job-saving draft from him.
Yeah.
That's what I took out of those comments, as well as free agency. Yeah. Malik Collins, Andre Schmidt, like, granted, you extended Dustin Hopkins recently too. So that one was a little odd to me. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson trade, all this stuff. Because of the draft class last year, I was not shocked that he stayed. If that draft class is half as good, I don't know if he's here, though.
I still think it would rely on, could they find someone better in the business department? We got to remember the whole Brook Park thing. The one thing that I took from it that it doesn't seem like a lot of people even, like, they're just glossing over it, was he mentioned and said that we're going to have ample cap space at the beginning of the offseason to make moves. So, like, what move that could possibly make, how much money that could possibly be, there's going to be something there that's going to happen. So I'm excited. I'm super optimistic, especially it's like you get an opportunity to stack upon this. Like, now we're talking about the foundation is set. Now we're talking about, let's get a little cosmetic in here a little bit. Let's see what we can throw in here that's maybe a little luxury. Yeah. So which kind of turns my head. Where do you think they go in the draft?
Offensive line.
Because that's what they said. With the first, like, you think that's their number one before receiver?
It's going to depend on who goes before trade hauls. But, like, I made an analogy about 2 or 3 days ago. The Browns opening or just the Browns roster, but Browns head coach opening is like that super nice, sexy car you have. It catches everybody's eyes on the road. Everybody's like, wow, I want that car. That car's in the shop every couple weeks because the bare bones aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really good chance that none of the 3 starting interior offensive linemen are back next year.
Yep.
Tackles already got issues, right? You got to bring back Devin Bush, Shelby Harris likely gone. Malik Collins, don't know what the timetable is for the return there either. That's a huge, huge thing. Martin Emerson, don't know what's going to go on there. There's a lot of question marks, a lot more question marks than I think we want to acknowledge. The young talent is 100% there. The flash is there, and it's a good foundation. To me, it's offensive line. I know quarterback is obviously a big thing. We'll talk
Which
about
he
that,
talked about a lot.
He said it may not even be in the building, which was crazy to me. Well, I shouldn't say crazy, but I didn't think he was just going to outright say it.
That's why it's like when you listen to Andrew Berry, you have to take the breadcrumbs and you have to do your own analysis and put yourself in his shoes. And it's like when I made the video, everyone's like, "Oh, so what? Shador's not the answer anymore?" No, that's not what I'm saying. Shador is going to be there in their back pocket for at least another 2-3 years minimum, right?
What was he getting? He's getting paid less. I can't remember.
$4 million.
Yeah, I can't remember who the college athlete was, but like someone's 1 year NIL money is more than Shador's 4-year contract. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean the return on that investment is way too high for you to be letting that go. Deshaun Watson is going to be in the building unless something happens that we don't know. So I where were we going with that kind of
quarterback out of the building?
Oh yeah, so the quarterback out of the building thing is just like I think Myles is kind of pulling some strings behind and putting the pressure on because they're reopening up this window.
Yeah,
I feel like we are the Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy and what is going to be our Sam Darnold, whoever that Sam Darnold is going to be. Is it going to be Mac Jones? Is it going to be Malik Willis? Like those are the type of names that we realistically should be looking at.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Mac Jones to me is like tier above Malik Willis and some of these other guys. Mac Jones to me is a capable NFL starter.
Mm-hmm.
I said it about a month ago. I still think that's a real possibility. The issue is I think he would demand a little more money is Kyler Murray. I think Kyler could be a possibility.
Especially if Cliff Kingsbury is on the list.
Exactly, yeah. And what's really interesting, I don't know if you saw the Mary Kay tweet about Jonathan Gannon potentially being a candidate, which, I mean, I don't know if you saw how it went in Arizona. He was an awesome, awesome coordinator in Philly. I think he'd make a great coordinator. He's local, too. I want to say he went to St. Ignatius.
St. Ignatius, guys. I'll tell you right now, as a Wildcat alum, would be great to see him there. Please don't do it. I'm begging you guys. Just the way we watched that in Arizona go down.
Yeah.
Go Cats and everything, but that Arizona team, you watch stars like Marvin Harrison Jr., Quid, Budda Baker, one of the toughest dudes in the NFL. He was like, I can't even play right now. They got a favor done for them with the number 3 pick or whatever it was, but please don't bring him to Cleveland.
Yeah, and what the reason I bring that up is because Kyler, Instagram, Twitter, somewhere posted a really glowing thing
about him,
Jonathan Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to be tied at the hip somewhere again. I think Gannon would make a great coordinator. He was a heck of a coordinator when he was in Philly. Does he go somewhere? Does he bring Kyler with him? I don't know. We wait to see. But that is a name that I've thrown out a couple times. I think is overhated in the media too. Good player, obviously, has his shortcomings, but good player for sure. And I think could be a good option, legitimate starter.
I just want to know what's going on with Jim Schwartz. That's the one thing that I'm super worried about because sure, there are a lot of good candidates out here to pick, but a lot of them are defensive minded. Mm-hmm. And if a defensive minded guy is going to come in here, you're going to change up a lot of the defensive philosophy.
Yeah.
And I think we are so harped on, well, we want this head coach guy to be an offensive minded guy. And I get you. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want that. But I think we should be more focused on that being the coordinator. I like to give flowers when flowers were due, and I talk about Jimmy Haslam and how he's grown over these past few years. And I think that when he puts his hand in the fire, sometimes he knows not to touch it again because it's a little hot. Mm-hmm. I think he may go the traditional route where we're going to get the leader of men. They talked about it. The players have talked about it. We want that leader of men. So whether you're a defensive guy or an offensive guy, cool. But I think we're going to let this offensive coordinator come in here and run the offense and let this go, and let it give a try so we don't have to do the whole, well, now you got to relinquish play calling duties and give it to the offensive coordinator because you've seen how that's worked out with AVP. You've seen how it's worked out with Dorsey and now Tommy Reese. So if we can find a way to retain Jim Schwartz and keep that there because the players talked about how what ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would be in with a Brian Flores. It just, if you bring in Brian Flores, chances are
Schwartz is out.
Schwartz is gone.
I think. I don't know.
Because that Brian Flores-Dable connection would be crack.
It would be cool. it would be awesome. Even Kingsbury coming underneath it would be
Kingsbury OC.
awesome. The only thing is with the old Giants hiring cycle. I don't know if you remember like the Bill Belichick text and stuff. I don't know if there was any animosity between Flores and Dable. Not really sure, but that could be a real thing too. You don't know.
Well, never
But
mind then.
it's weird. No, I don't discount it though. They were on the same staff for multiple years in New England. Like I think it's a possibility. But what's really interesting about the Schwartz thing is that multiple players have come out, multiple star players have come out and said,
Glowing.
this is our guy.
Yep.
I would love him to be the head coach. Obviously, they're
Captains.
interviewing him. They're interviewing Tommy Reese too, but they're interviewing Jim Schwartz as the head coach. And if you want to keep the culture somewhat the same defensively, it makes a lot of sense to keep him. My only worry is maybe there's somebody out there better who has better experience as a head coach, like a Brian Flores, like a Jim Harbaugh, if that happens. But like those guys, even Robert Saleh,
That I was just gonna say.
who could come in. I think Saleh would be a good option. I think there are better options, though.
I think in terms of now here's where I agree with what you said, but I think in terms of what this team specifically needs, you know me and how I am with the people in the fire and how you can motivate your guys. Can we think of a better players coach or a player motivate? How many times have you looked over when you're watching a San Francisco 49er game? There should be a call sheet prop for how many times you see Robert Saleh on a camera. Because the dude literally is freaking on the TV screen every chance, jumping up and down, hyping up, doing all of these things. And I'm just like, we can get him. And I think his ego would allow Jim Schwartz to continue to do his thing too. And then you're just talking about, do you or no?
No. And notice how you said 49ers and not when he was head coach as the Jets.
But I think the Jets was very
The
rocky.
way it went down with Rodgers and Zach Wilson to me was an enormous red flag as a head coach. Very clear, at least as we saw it in the media, favoritism towards Aaron Rodgers, pushing your backup quarterback away. Aaron Rodgers done for the year in week 1. Your backup quarterback and you don't have a good relationship. That was a good Jets team, regardless who was playing quarterback. They may have won 8 games that year, 9 games that year without Rodgers. I don't know. To me, he's an awesome defensive coordinator. I think he's a good head coach. I think there are better options.
There's definitely better options. I'm just thinking of one quality that I think is underrated in terms of what we forget is on a football field. The emotion is such such a valuable asset to have in moments when you are the Browns, or let's just say the organization of the Browns, when it just like, you watch my highlight tapes and every other highlight play is, flag. You know what I mean? We're so conditioned to think wrong. You know what I mean? So I just want a guy who can weather. I think the personality has to be strong. You can't come in with another even kill robot guy or a guy who rarely shows emotion or has that unauthentic emotion. You have to have a personality at the head coaching position this year. Period.
That's why I think it's Brian Flores.
I
hope it's Brian Flores. I say.
Are you nervous at all of because you think about? I mean, one thing that comes into my mind is the comments from Tua. Now, obviously, you could take what you want from Tua, but like he's like, well, when you have a coach who speaks and says you're garbage and you're trash, and he's just basically tearing you down every second of the day, and then you have another guy referencing Mike McDaniels who's telling you all of the great things about you. Does it scare you at all that Brian Flores has that side to him, or is that maybe something that this team needs?
I think offensively, 100% the team needs it.
No, but if you know, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Let's just say the quarterback room is Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Mac Jones, and maybe he's not fond of Shedeur.
Yeah,
and Deshaun drops the ball, so now it's like, well, Mac Jones didn't work out. Now you've got to go to Shedeur. It's just another sinking ship. Is that something to worry about, or am I going too deep into it?
That's where you need a good offensive coordinator, I think. To me, Flores would have a minimal hand in the offense. That's not who he is. He's a defensive guy. I think the blueprint for a quick turnaround is Seattle, what they've done. Mike McDonald, exceptional defensive coordinator in Baltimore, leaves, goes to Seattle. Year 1, they're pretty solid. They just missed the playoffs. But year 2, number 1 seed in the NFC, he is calling the defense. He's still calling plays for the defense and has an awesome young offensive coordinator under him in Clint Kubiak, who's getting the most out of Sam Darnold, a decent offensive line, and outside of JSN, pass catchers that honestly leave a little bit to be desired. Good running backs. But that, I think, is the blueprint. So I look at this, and maybe that's the blueprint with promoting Jim Schwartz and getting somebody underneath him too, a Cliff Kingsbury, a Brian Dable, who knows. I think that's how you have to go about it. My issue is I think a lot of those really good offensive coordinators, the Kingsburys, the Dables,
are going to be gone
because of the quarterback situation, because there's a Mendoza out there, because there's a Jackson Dart out there, because there's a Lamar Jackson out there now. They will take those jobs before Cleveland.
Which is why this is very interesting. Of it would be different if they knew it was like, okay, we're just gonna kind of like if they didn't reiterate, I don't know, 4 or 5 times that quarterback is the most important position. Head coach or quarterback. I mean, Andrew Berry said quarterback is the most important position at least 4 times in that press conference. That tells me they have an idea of something. What that idea is, that's what I'm intrigued in, and it just keeps us going. We talked about it. And where you said he could have played at the end of the last year, there may be are they banking on a guy to come in and give one more crack at Deshaun Watson?
I think so. Yeah, I think there would be coordinators out there who'd be interested.
Who could tap into that?
Well, who could is Kingsbury, Dable, those guys. But if you're telling me I have a choice, Deshaun Jackson, Lamar Jackson, I'm gonna take Lamar Jackson.
Was there conversations when? Was Kingsbury on the coaching market when Deshaun Watson was in that?
I don't think so. I think he was still in Arizona.
Because I'm trying to think who was all in that Atlanta pool.
It could have. No, Arizona, I think, had just drafted Kyler, so I don't think they would have been.
Damn, that was that long ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy crap.
But, like, you have the choice between Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. You're taking Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, Jackson Dart on a rookie deal. You're taking Jackson Dart.
So is that the first domino to fall is going to be the Ravens, we think?
Ravens or Giants, yeah. For an offensive coordinator, probably.
No, head coach. Well, because the coach would probably be the first thing to go.
I think if Harbaugh wants to go to the Giants, that's going to happen as soon as he interviews. But I don't know if he wants to go to the Giants over Atlanta or another team like that. But even like if you're looking at a potential, you're a younger coordinator, a Kingsbury, Dable, not necessarily young, but very, very experienced with developing young quarterbacks. If any of those guys like Fernando Mendoza, they're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
And that would be the tell-all, though, essentially, right? Like, you'd be kind of lining up to, like, hey, Raiders, interview me. Yeah. I want to come here. Like, yes. Is there any of that? I don't get that sense of urgency that teams are doing everything in their power to go to the Raiders. Now, could there be a little bit of something with the Tom Brady aspect? Because I know there was a little rumbles that people ain't really too fond of what Brady doing over there in the ownership room.
I think people are not fond of it, but I think a change is needed, to be honest with you. From what I've heard, and these are just rumors on the internet, that relationship between the front office, Brady included, sounds like, and Max Crosby has soured. So, like, maybe there's a trade there. They're going to trade Max Crosby for, like, 3 first-round picks.
That would be disgusting.
That's, again, really attractive for somebody who wants to be a coach, somebody who wants to be a coordinator, to come in and have all of these assets down the line. I don't know. I think Vegas is a very, very attractive spot. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. Welcome back in Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. I'm Max Loeb. He is Chef Zay. Continuing to talk about this head coaching market. The Cleveland Browns obviously in the market for a head coach. I don't know if you saw, but when John Harbaugh was fired yesterday, there were 7 teams within some certain amount of time that called his agent. Here's the issue. There were 6 teams with head coaching openings. One of those teams, it sounds like it was the Miami Dolphins. One of those teams had a head coach on their roster and said, what's the deal with Harbaugh? That's how hot of a commodity it is. So I want to ask you, is there anything that can pull him away from the more attractive, more lucrative, frankly, more talented teams that may be out there for Harbaugh for him to come to Cleveland?
You know what it is, and it's what makes Cleveland so special. What makes being from Ohio so special is that Ohio is always home. And depending on how you value that type of stuff, you talk, obviously the community work and stuff like that, knowing what your parents' ties are.
Yeah.
You think parents aren't going to have a little bit of an opinion in his ear this time or go around where I want to kick back and retire? And obviously no one's going to be like, oh, I'm going to the shores of Erie to kick up and retire. But it's like, I think if there was one thing other than that blank check that everyone wants to just give Harbaugh, and I think, hey, Jimmy,
Yes.
you know how to back the Brinks truck up.
Yeah.
You could do it for Harbaugh, and I think every fan would give you a standing ovation and maybe gloss over that one thing for a year or two. But like, I think the ties to Ohio and the ties to Cleveland, I think that could mean something. Now, that's just me talking as a homer, being a little biased. But I think if there's one thing that could sway it, that in the back of his mind is like, man, a team I grew up watching, I could be the savior. Okay.
I think so too. I think that is probably the most enticing thing about it. Especially because for Harbaugh, you figure he gets a pretty long leash wherever he goes. Like, this could be the final stop.
Now,
this could be it.
This could be the growth that Jimmy Haslam needs for himself. See, Jimmy Haslam is in a really, really sticky situation right now. Wait, Bruce Arians just said something about Mendoza. Says he reminds him of Drake. Man, okay, I thought it was something bigger than that. But where was I going with that? Where did I pick off? I thought it was something big with Mendoza.
No, we were talking about Harbaugh. I said this could potentially be his last run. He's 60-something, I think. 63. A lot of coaches, late 60s, early 70s. But, I mean, if this is his last stop and he gets a longer leash, maybe this is...
Oh, the leash.
This is what he wants to do.
There you go. That's where I was going with it. So, we know how Harbaugh... Like, I keep talking about how Jimmy Haslam has grown over the years. I think if Jimmy Haslam were to allow a guy like a Harbaugh, like a Tom, like, a Belichick, like, knowing and being like, hey, I'm going to come in. I'll come here. But I need to know that you're not going to be over my shoulder. I need to know that if I come here, it's my show, and this is what we're going to do. I think that's the ego check at the door for Jimmy Haslam. And knowing because it's like he is building this stadium. He is heavily involved. He does like to keep his ear into these conversations and stuff like that. And every single year, there's been one little thing that you can look at and be like, okay, Jimmy's a little different than that area.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the accountability. The first statement out of his mouth was, as owners, we take full responsibility for the 8 years or these 8 games that we've won over the past few years. So I think Jimmy Haslam has a big opportunity to show growth and be like, you know what? Harbaugh, here you go. Mm-hmm. This is all yours. Do what you got to do. And whatever money needs to be signed, bring it to my door and we can have the conversation then.
How many jobs do you think Harbaugh would look at before the Browns and say, yeah, I'd rather have that one? I think Giants probably. I think Falcons for sure.
You keep saying the Falcons, and I keep trying to convince myself that the Dome is a beauty to be in, right? Obviously, the young talent, the division. I think the division being so weak.
They got an owner that's willing to spend too.
Yeah, and knowing that you could be a alpha the very second that you come into the division, and people are going to be fearful of you.
And it sounds like Matt Ryan's pretty heavily involved there. And I mean, that you ask any person associated with the Falcons, they love Matt Ryan.
He's about to be their president of football operations, basically, guys.
And just made a new position for him.
Yeah. See, my question for you though is like, why do you not discredit all of the things that we've seen over so many years for Jimmy Haslam since he bought the team in 2013, 2014? Jim Harbaugh's right there. He's watching all of the things where Jimmy Haslam, I should say. He had so many crazy things that he did over his ownership tenure. Just because he's turned a little page over the past couple of years, that doesn't excuse all of the decade of mistakes that Jimmy made. Do you think Harbaugh takes that into account when he's looking at the Browns' potential opening?
I think if his wordplay is good enough, he could convince him. I think we are in a world in a society today that is hard to forgive and that is hard to watch growth. I think we are so hell-bent on our opinion and what we think that is morally right for our individual self that we're going to run with that no matter what. And to sit here and say that Jimmy Haslam isn't a night and day, well, I won't say night and day difference. It's borderlining. It's getting closer to that. But to say that Jimmy Haslam isn't different from 2012 to 2025 would be selfish. It would be unfair to Jimmy Haslam because we're talking about a Jimmy Haslam who not only picked up the phone on draft night to say, go get Johnny Manziel, but picked up the phone when your team was 7-4 and was getting Mike Pettin in his ear saying, hey, we got to get Johnny in. So, like, we are far removed from those days of Jimmy Haslam. And I think that's something to take into account. Now, obviously, you can't erase the 12 years that he's, the things that there, but it's like, has he grown? Has he taken steps? we talk about it every single time we talk about an owner, and you just mentioned it with the Falcons. The one thing you want your owner to do is spend the money. He has had no problem doing that. And every time we talk about the cap space and, we don't have money to do that, well, Myles Garrett just got a new contract. Grant Delpit just got a new contract. JLK just got a new contract. Denzel Ward had ended up getting a new contract. So all these times they talk about not having money, he still found ways to get it done. So sure, it hasn't been pretty for Jimmy Haslam, but it's growth. And when you're talking about a billionaire, it's like baby steps growth. He's still got to take the pacifier. He's still going to want the pacifier, but there's going to come a point in time where that toddler grows up and realizes that, you know what? I'm not a baby anymore. And I think Jimmy Haslam's getting closer.
I'm with you on that, though. But Max, my question for you is, why wouldn't he just come out and say, "Oh, that was on me, the Deshaun Watson trade"? Like
he did already.
Not really, though. He said it was a swing and a miss. He didn't say it was on me, squarely on my shoulders. An owner, if he wanted to just flush it and move forward like he kind of does, why wouldn't the growth you're talking about? Why wouldn't he just come out and be like, "This was completely on me, all my fault"? Excuse it for Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski. I know it's probably because he wanted them out the door at a certain point in time, or like wanted to leave that open so he could make those moves. Mm-hmm. But why would you not see him take full accountability on the Deshaun Watson trade?
Because I think there's hope for one more year of Watson, to be honest.
I also think I'm gonna spin it like this. I think that it wasn't solely a Haslam thing.
Yeah, I don't think it was either. But I think at a point as an owner, if everybody truly is in lockstep, which is not the case, if everybody was truly in lockstep, Barry and Stefanski would be gone together. If everybody's in lockstep, the owner or the GM, one of the guys got to be like, "Yup, that's on me," and take the ownership for it.
I think he's gone though. I think the guy. I think collectively as a whole, it was all of them. And this is how I space it out. I think when you talk about, everyone talks about, well, what was Paul T. Podesta? We know he was a Moneyball guy. They had an operation and plan, and they told us years ago that there was a 8 to 10 year plan in place, right? We're at the end of that plan that they were talking about, which is why Paul T. Podesta is gone. He told us that this was a big swing and a miss. So that means when they brought Paul T. Podesta in, they knew that they were going to take one major swing, whatever that may be. And the Moneyball segment or whatever they did, that all the accumulation from Sashi Brown, giving you all of the capital, tearing it down, gave you all of this opportunity to make the big play. You had that Dorsey put the foundation in. He spent the money, and then Andrew Berry came in, and he was the guy that was going to orchestrate the swing and a miss. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So I think Paul T. Podesta gave them the target. I think Andrew Berry worked the numbers, and I think Jimmy Haslam had to sign off on it. They all were a part of it.
Even if they all were a part of it, though, I think an owner who takes full accountability will take it for everybody. That, I think, is the final step of growth.
So maybe after Deshaun's gone, he'll be like, you know
what?
Maybe.
Because, again, like I said, I truly do think the number one reason, well, I think it's hand in hand. Pat, you said it. I think almost using the Watson trade as a reason to get rid of one or both of them, I think that could be a part of it. But I truly do think there is hope for one more year inside the building, hope for one more year of Deshaun Watson. That's why I was surprised about the quarterback, them just saying straight up quarterback may not be in the building. I thought it'd be a possibility. Like I thought a late round draft pick, a flyer on a free agent. I didn't think they were just going to say it. That surprised me. Yeah.
and be like, we have two focuses right now. In the short term, it's going to be coach, and right after that, it's quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I kind of was like, is there somebody in the draft that they really like right now?
Maybe.
Because they're really on this quarterback thing. But my mind instantly goes to, no, they can't do that. Like, you can't sell Myles Garrett on a rookie right now. You can't. And that's where it's like, I think they're going to play this teeter-totter game. And I think it's going to come to the point where Lamar Jackson, what we're witnessing with Lamar Jackson and Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson won that power struggle. You are either going to retain Myles Garrett and keep this window open for him, or he's going to close it for you and you are going to ship him out of here. So I don't think you can spend a year, even if it was Mendoza. I don't think you can be like, hey, Mendoza, can you get us to an AFC championship or a AFC North crown this year and into the playoffs this year? No, the guy that's going to come in is going to be in the league and have some type of proven statistical stat behind him that be like, you know what? You could be a guy that could get us to the playoffs.
I think you're right. And I also think you look a year in advance, there will be a couple more Browns who are gone. I believe Denzel Ward's still under contract, but I know Grant Delpit's contract is up after next year. There's somebody else on the defensive side.
I think it's Ward. I think they were right tandem.
Okay, there you go. So maybe it's both of them, but I know for a fact it's Grant Delpit. Maybe they extend this offseason. That's a very Andrew Berry thing to do. But yeah, the window is now. There's no banking on a rookie or even a sophomore unless you feel really confident about him to lead you. Like there's almost no way. Now, You got to sell the Myles Garrett, the defense on somebody.
Mhm.
Can you resell them on Deshaun Watson? I don't know. That's a tough ask. That's why I'm kind of back and forth on what I think the Browns should do. I think Deshaun Watson, assuming he's healthy, will be the Week 1 starter. But
I think I might agree with you on that.
I mean, just think, unless there's somebody out there who they love, unless there's, let's say, a Kyler Murray, a Mac Jones, somebody like that, a Daniel Jones, somebody like that they love, that they're like, this is our guy. Let's bring him in for a year or two. Let's run with it.
I think they're looking at a package. I think they're looking at something that has ties with someone. Kingsbury has ties with Murray, or Kingsbury has ties with this.
See.
I think they're going to have to look for something to be seamless. They can't try to be like, well, we can give you this guy. Like randomly putting Malik Willis in a system that just doesn't work, doesn't make sense. Like, the guy that they bring in, he's already going to have a guy in mind that it's like, go get him. Let's go get this thing to work.
That's why I think, number one, the head coach coordinator will be the deciding factor in the quarterback thing.
100%.
But number two, I think they could get completely screwed over if Kingsbury, Dable, all these guys go to the more attractive jobs. I think it's a real thing.
Maybe they like Tommy Rees. Maybe they really like. Listen,
the quarterback. Wait, the quarterback?
I'm talking about being. If we're, I don't.
No, but like, who likes Tommy Rees first? I want to make sure I'm clear.
I don't want to say they like Tommy.
Who's they?
The Browns.
Oh, okay.
The Browns.
Okay.
The Browns like Tommy Rees because I when we talk about the growth, one thing that Jimmy Haslam has shown that he wants to have some continuity. I mean, he. When's the last time we said we had a 6-year coach? When's the last time we said we had this long of a GM? When's the last time we had continuity in some of our players? I mean, we talk about Denzel Ward having his entire career here, and he wasn't even drafted by Andrew Berry.
Yeah.
So I think there is some merit to wanting to keep this thing in somewhat of an alignment, because if you do bring a John Harbaugh in, that alignment is completely, you go from scoliosis to kyphosis. You know what I mean? It's a completely different back problem. I'm not saying it's a back problem, but it's not the same type of structure that you're going to have, which is why I think Jim Schwartz is such an interesting choice, because you're not going to do anything with that defense that is going to jeopardize what you've built on already.
That is true, but they better hit a home run at offensive coordinator.
And that's where it lies. That's why I think we're putting so much emphasis on this head coaching search.
Well, I think
when in reality,
the head coach is the most important thing. Because, like, Jim Schwartz, I mean, there's a reason he was a head coach and then turned out to not be a head coach.
And he told us again he didn't want to be a head coach, remember? That's what I'm worried about.
What does that tell you about the Browns search? Obviously, he wants to be a head coach if he's interviewing with the Browns to be a head coach now. But I don't know. I think, obviously, the defense is great. Obviously, there's schematics that go along with it. Life is easy when you got Myles Garrett on your defense. Easier,
right. Who wants
I should
to lead
say.
that?
Exactly. Well, it's not even who wants to lead that. I think a similar defensive mind, a good defensive mind, could come in and make that work. Like, I think the Browns genuinely need an overhaul. Like, what is in the building right now, what's been in the building the past couple of years, even though the defensive side of the ball has been good, is not working holistically.
Here's what I'll ask you then. You talk about the overhaul. How easy is it? Have we seen teams replace a defensive guy who has had a top 1 defense and then for a top 4 defense 2 out of the 4 years he's been here, and you got rid of it and the defense gotten better? Have we ever seen that? I'm trying to think of, like,
gotten better holistically or at a point in the year, because the Ravens just did it 2 years ago. That defense was number 1 in the NFL the second half of the year after McDonald left. Because I think the talent was that good.
So go get John Harbaugh and you got it done.
Well,
get Harbaugh and sign me up.
Look,
because you know what they keep saying with Harbaugh? Monken comes with him.
Well, that would be nice. I think Monken did great things with Lamar, and that's.
What about with us though? He was with us before, and I'm just trying to think of what that season and how it went down and why I can't remember it.
Here's the bottom line, though. Working with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore is a lot different than working with Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, or Dylan Gabriel here. Like, it's still going to be a quarterback thing. And I think the quarterback situation, I'm not even going to say situation. The room itself is a mess. It's a mess. That's a huge deterrent for a head coach. That's a huge deterrent for an offensive coordinator. And I think the Browns will lose out on the top guys because of that.
Man, if you are as good of a head coach as you claim to be, if you know your shit stinks, if you know what I mean, like, the Browns personnel, like just on paper, how are you not looking at that and being like, you know what? I got a guy for the offense. We've got some guy. You know what? We can find a way to get some receivers here. This defense, like, I'm just looking.
Can they though? Like, I don't think they can.
If you get the guy I want, if you go get AJ Brown,
yes, that would change things dramatically.
This offense goes from bottom tier to damn what we about to do now.
To average, probably.
I think it would all determine on the quarterback play. But again, the music to the Brown, you know what's really going to be music to Andrew Berry's ears and Jimmy Haslam's ears? What's your plan for 12? Can you sell me on, can you elevate 12? I think deep down, it's not front on their mind, but I think if someone could sell them that 12 would work because...
to someone could sell Jimmy Haslam that? Yeah.
Because now... AJ Brown becomes more realistic. You're gonna get your 2 offensive linemen. You could potentially trade for an offensive lineman and get it done. Like we can look at what the Bears did in one season. Someone said you can't overhaul a whole line in 1 year.
They did.
They did in 1 year.
But the issue is they had the money to do it,
and we have some capital that may not be money, but we have assets that could get that done.
So trades, you think?
I think that. I'm going to trust Andrew Berry when he says we have ample cap space at the beginning of the year. Now,
Gosh, I wonder who that is that's gone then. Because
here's
Jeudy maybe?
I think Jerry Jeudy is your perfect wide receiver number 2. I think he is a perfect number 2.
Yeah.
Pair him with AJ Brown. Is that not the...
Oh, no, that would be great.
That would be ridiculous.
But how do you make that happen? Like there's cap issues.
It's a myth. How did the Vegas make Matthew Stafford happen and then go get Von Miller right after that? You know what I mean? Like they can move the money.
Andrew Berry can distribute the cap, but there are teams who will be like, hey, we can give you X amount of money for a free agent. I'm just saying for offensive line, for receiver, whatever. Like there are teams that will just straight up be willing to pay these guys more right now, guaranteed money right now, because they have the freedom to do it. And honestly, because there are more attractive spots to go.
Well, the players that they're going to be targeting are going to be prove-it guys, I think. I think there's going to be guys that are looking – they're going to do it kind of like similar what they've been doing the past few years. Think about the Malik Collins deals, the Shelby Harris deals. Even the JOK deal was just a 3-year extension. Like the deal that is going to happen, the money that's going to be spent, it's not going to be some 4-year contract, 3-year contract. It's going to be a 1-year, 2-year deal with this player option or something like that along those lines where it's like, you're here for a year. What can you do for us? And then we can revisit this at the end. Kind of like what Hicks was on a 1-2-year deal. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I think they're going to go that route.
They should. And that's how you maximize a window.
And I think that also, it shows Myles that it's like, okay, You're trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be hesitant. I think that's the most important thing. While we think head coach is obviously head coach 1, quarterback is right there with it. I think the next important thing after that is figuring out what the hell you think Myles thinks.
Yeah, that is a part of it for sure. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna give our top 5 potential Browns head coach candidates up next on Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Loeb. He is Chef Zay. Pat, Zay, and I are going to give our top 5 potential Browns head coaching candidates who we'd want to see walk in the door, lead those teams. I'll start with my honorable mentions. If you guys have any, you can follow after me. I think Vance Joseph from Denver would be awesome. I think Jesse Minter from LA would be awesome. I go back and forth on Raheem Morris from Atlanta. I think he's a great leader. Everything I've heard about him is awesome. I think I'm scarred for life from the Commanders game 2 years ago with the timeout usage. It cost him a playoff berth. It was pretty bad. But those are my honorable mentions. Do you guys have any honorable mentions?
I got one.
Okay.
I've mentioned it before.
Uh-oh.
Honorably or dishonorably?
Honorable mention. Give me heartbreak Bill Belichick.
Oh, okay.
If you give me it has to be heartbroken Bill Belichick. Not Bill Belichick with his girl.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Heartbroke Bill Belichick would be number 1 on
Bro
my
is
list
wishing pain on him.
It would literally be above John Harbaugh.
That's amazing.
If I knew that this girl broke John Harbaugh's heart, he would
Belichick,
instantly come number 1 on my list because that would be one scary coach. That would give nightmares. So
I think it would.
I'll give my one honorable mention. Heartbreak Bill Belichick.
Pat, did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, well, we talked about it on the big factor. Can you get me the Little Giants head coach? Can you get me the Friday Night Lights head coach? Can you get me any of these other dudes from any movie ever? Is Al Pacino in what's that movie? Any Given Sunday or whatever it is. But I don't have a whole lot of honorable mentions. I'll just kind of dive into my list, guys. In no particular order, I would love Raheem Morris. I don't think that one's going to happen. I really did like him as a leader of men, but like you talked about, the coaches these days can't handle clock management. For whatever reason it is, John Harbaugh has been really awful with that. Kevin Stefanski was terrible with it as well. But guys on my list are Jesse Minter. Clint Kubiak is number one on my list. And then you've got guys who are more in the leader of men mold, like Brian Daboll. I would love to bring him here to Cleveland as well. Those are the ones that jump out to me right away. I know there's definitely more on the list. There's tons and tons of names out there. What I don't want particularly, guys, is to lose Jim Schwartz. I don't mind if you lose Tommy Rees. I'm not really that sold. Nick Pannone has talked about this on the Big Play Cleveland show, the Big Factor, that those guys over in Berea, they love Tommy Rees. They think he's some wonder boy. Ask Jack O'Rourke about the Notre Dame offense for years. Ask Jalen Milroe about the Alabama offense. I don't think he's really as special as people think. But if you want to keep him in the building, I suppose I'll be open to that as the OC. There's a lot more names that I'd be pretty happy with. Brian Flores, even if you get a defensive guy. Honestly, Clint Kubiak would be my number one, as well bringing Tom Telesco as a GM for your JCU boys over there. But that's where my head goes right now so far.
All right, Zay, who's your number 5?
Number 5, I think I'm gonna go John Gruden.
Ooh, okay.
I think I'm going to go John Gruden. I have to put him on there. I think it's more so on the reason why I have him at 5 and not the honorable mentions is because while I think it's more of a pipe dream, it's not more of a realistic possibility for me. I think the leader of men is undeniable.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people are going to go to the past history stuff with him, but the proof is in the pudding when it comes to football, and there are a lot of players who love John Gruden. I mean, the Hard Knocks was gold.
Yep.
So I think John Harbaugh could mix that with the John Harbaugh thing, the ties with Cleveland. Like, that's real. His dad was a Browns fan. He grew up loving Bernie Kosar, who is in the hospital. Our prayers go out to Bernie. But so Gruden at 5 for me.
I honestly think it's weird. Like, obviously the stuff in the past, I'm pretty sure still needs to be reinstated in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. But I almost don't know if Gruden wants to leave the world he's in now. He's crushing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he wants to leave that. I didn't even have him on my list honorable mentions because of that. That's a good call. Number 5, I do have Robert Saleh. I think even though I was a little weary of the stuff with the Jets, partially could be Aaron Rodgers too. Like, that, to me, weird dynamic. Don't know whose fault it is fully. I think he's an awesome defensive coordinator. He gets guys to want to play for him. I think that would be great. The issue is with him and pretty much everybody on my list, honestly, is they're more defensive-minded guys, and that's just the nature of the cycle, I think. Those top guys that are out there, outside of Kevin Stefanski and Clint Kubiak, are defensive guys. So maybe you do lose Jim Schwartz in that sense. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what it would look like, but if we're talking just new coaches out of the building, I think Saleh has to be on there.
I think I could. I might piggyback you there, or should I? I like Saleh. I think he's the perfect motive. I would love to.
He's literally one of the best defensive coordinators I've ever seen. I just don't know about head coach.
And you've kind of talked me out of it a little bit. I'm gonna go a little off the rails a little bit here. Let's go Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
I think you talk about the circus, right? And knowing how it looked like there were a lot of puppets on our front office and stuff like that. Matt Nagy doesn't look like he's returning. Is that a candidate for you by chance?
No, it's not. But he was. I think he interviewed with the Titans. I'm pretty sure.
But back to McCarthy, I think that him having experience with a Jerry Jones is very, very valuable when you think about Jimmy Haslam and you think about knowing that he can walk a dotted line while also commanding his own line, in a sense. You know what I mean? So having that asset alone would have me bought in, and he is respected throughout the NFL. So I'll go McCarthy at 4.
Yes, he is definitely respected throughout the NFL. My immediate gripes with McCarthy,
those playoff games.
No, it's not even that. That's not even like him. Even Harbaugh to an extent, like the older guys. To me, Cleveland's more of a rebuild than it is a step in and win.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Wait, so
who? quarterback. Like, come on, let's not lie to ourselves here.
I mean, if they get it right though, like if a guy comes in, the Commanders weren't looked to be dominant their first year with a rookie. So I mean, like, are you said you're more of a rebuild? Like,
it's more of a rebuild than a step in and win now. Yes, I mean the offensive line is awful. The pass catchers.
What are we talking about? Win now, Super Bowl, or are we talking about?
Let's say win a playoff game. What the Commanders do? Well, Commanders made the NFC Championship. Let's just say win a playoff game. I think it's more of a rebuild than step in, go win a playoff game. Close. I'm not saying that fully, but what I'm saying is guys like that who are a little bit older may not want to be a part of that. Again, a guy like Harbaugh, McCarthy, whoever may want to step into a situation where you need to win 9 games in the NFC South to win your division, or where you have Jackson Dart and a good defense. Like that may be more appealing. But on the flip side, I think you can get younger, hungrier guys like Robert Saleh, but my number 4, Jeff Hafley, the Packers defensive coordinator, who's awesome. He's been very good. He's gotten the most last year, especially out of a unit that, for lack of a better word, on paper was thin.
Didn't have Parsons, that's for sure.
Didn't have Micah Parsons. And even now, they've been a lot worse against the run without Parsons. I've noticed that, but it's still not horrible without Parsons. Like, he gets the most. You listen to all of the circles about young coordinators who will potentially leave and get a head coaching job. Everybody speaks glowingly of him. I think in terms of young, hungry guys, it's him or Kubiak, but Jeff Hafley, to me, as a defensive guy, is absolutely my top 5.
I think number 3, I'm going to go Kubiak.
Okay.
You talk about offense, and that's the one thing there's always some kind of, tainted thing that you have to tie to the Browns searching something. It's like we can never get the perfect scenario, but like we need offense. And if Kubiak can do what he's doing over there in Seattle, obviously that's the West Coast. It's a lot different over here, but our fan bases are the same. I mean, I just want somebody. I need at least one guy with an offensive mind on my list. So I like Clinton Kubiak. And when you talk about Kevin Stefanski being hired, I can't remember. There was a guy who I was talking about this when Kevin Stefanski was hired, and he's saying, this is stupid. What are you doing hiring Kevin Stefanski when all of the glowing things were for Clint Kubiak? Everyone loved Clint Kubiak. So that comes into my mind instantly, and if you've got that kind of glowing review about you, you might know what you're doing about that, seeing as though, I mean, you guys love Kevin Stefanski so much, you'd love Clint Kubiak.
I don't know how I feel about Kubiak. Every time I watch, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing somebody. Every time I watch offensive coordinators leave and become a head coach,
it never works.
Never works.
Especially with the Browns.
Like the most recent example I can think of is Kingsbury. And, the Cardinals were solid for a year.
Well, so. Shanahan, he was a coordinator, right?
Which?
Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, Kyle.
Your Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator.
He left us.
Okay.
2013,
so
2014.
A good example. Mike McDaniel to me.
McVay?
I don't know. Was McVay really like a
I don't even know if he was a coordinator.
He was just a genius.
Yeah. I think
not necessarily just offense.
He was the boy wonder. Shanahan's a great example. Yeah. But like thinking again recently, McDaniel.
But that's the only one.
Mike McDaniel.
Everyone keeps trying to find it. It's hard.
It's hard. And I think Kubiak has the potential to lead an elite offense. Absolutely. He did great things in New Orleans prior to a lot of injuries 2 years ago, too. I think people overlooked that. I don't know. Like, he would be on my honorable mentions. I don't have him in my top 5. For my 3, I have Jim Schwartz. I think it's hard to look outside the building when people speak so glowingly of him. He's been a head coach before. People love him. The defense would hopefully stay the same, be as good, if not better, maybe a little, who knows, but wouldn't change too much. I think that is my number 3. I think there'd be 2 guys I'd like more than him.
I think Schwartz is going to be my number 2. Okay. I don't know how I leave Flores off.
Wow.
No, yeah, I might have to push Gruden out.
Yeah.
And then move the list up. And then, because I do like Brian.
Huh? Who are you adding then? I'm curious.
Number 2 is going to be Schwartz.
Who's number 3?
Number 3 was Kubiak. So I think.
Okay. 2 Schwartz. Okay.
I think 3. I think I could put 3 for Flores. I don't know how I did that, but I really am intrigued with Flores. It just, I know if we get Flores, we're losing Schwartz.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Grant Delpit, like, these are captains. Like, these aren't just third string guys coming out talking about their coach. Like, these are people who have been with Schwartz and who have been through the mud. It's like it's not broken. Like, I get where people coming from the second half adjustments and, oh, well, when you give up 31 points to this team and da-da-da-da, we know what the offense was. Like, it's a different ball game if the offense is competent at the very least. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing that scares me. But you keep Jim Schwartz into this fold, the voice is going to be new because it's Jim Schwartz leading the way, but the message is still going to be radiating, and it's going to feel different. You're not going to have to convince these guys that Jim Schwartz is the right guy to do the job because we've seen him for the past 3-4 years, the way that he's motivated and put swag the second he came into this defense. So I'm so like, listen, if you're going to stay in-house, I would much rather you go to Jim Schwartz than anyone else because he's already been here and he is the most respected probably coach in our building.
Yeah, I would say so. I think the only way you can get him out is if you replace somebody who's won at the highest level. And the top 2 guys on my list are the guys who have done that, which is Flores is one of them. Like, to me, Brian Flores is obviously an elite coordinator, would get a ton out of that Browns defense. I'm not convinced they would take a step back at all. I think it might get even better if Flores is calling the defense, to be honest with you. I think
Scheme would be different, though, wouldn't it?
It's so different. It's so different, which I think would benefit in some ways, probably would hurt in some ways. But he's won at the highest level. He showed up in the biggest moments in the Super Bowl. Like, to me, it's just he needs his opportunity. I don't know if Cleveland is the opportunity. He needs his opportunity. But to have him walk in, say, this guy is won at the highest level, has been here and won, has been here and had an elite defense, has been here and had an elite defense, even Miami, obviously the Tua stuff, but was winning amidst a pretty bad roster.
I'm going to ask you.
I trust him. I would trust him.
Does if you're Brian Flores, though, does it scare you if your next opportunity is the Browns, though? Like, we talk about how could John Harbaugh just want to pick, us over the other teams. The same can kind of go for Brian Flores, because it's
100%. Yeah. That's why I don't think he's going to come to the Browns.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That would be my second choice, but I don't think he's going to.
So the Browns are kind of how do we get out of that?
Quarterback.
But I mean, damn.
I know. It's
we can't get no type of
before we say anything else. Your number one is John Harbaugh.
Yeah, John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh number one. But I'm with you. I'm trying to think out loud, and I try to get into it a segment ago. Like, who would you rather go to compared to the Browns? Giants, Falcons, Ravens now, right?
Ravens are the number one. If I had to pick one team, it's like, I get Lamar.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not gonna lie to you, though. It's gonna take a special. You're gonna have to figure out how you handle Lamar. I think Lamar is on the pace to try to change the scale of the NFL. He's doing NBA things in a shield, and that doesn't happen. You don't see you don't see a coach lose the power struggle to a player. You very rarely see it. You'll see the player go before a coach done, and he got Harbaugh up out of there.
Yeah.
So I think if I'm a coach, obviously it's Lamar Jackson. You're gonna want to let him go, but it's like you see the kind of sway that he had in that locker room. There was a half that liked Harbaugh, and there was half that was rocking with Lamar and was like, "Nah, get Harbaugh up out of here." So, caution. Proceed with caution if you ain't got that type of sauce to deal with a guy like Lamar Jackson, because you're going to be in for a rude awakening.
We're going to go to break here in a second. 2 other names I want to throw out. I want to get your reaction. Steve Spagnuolo from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Love it. Love it.
Kurt Cignetti from Indiana.
Everybody keeps talking about this damn guy. If they go him here, that means we're getting Mendoza.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
not
necessarily.
Gotta be. But you understand, you got to mortgage your future to get up there and get him. What pick the Browns have? 6 now?
6, yeah. It's impossible.
That ain't happening.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
I would be pissed.
Yeah, but you know what? Cignetti with a quarterback he feels comfortable with. You'd have to go back and probably find the lineage and the connections there, but I would like it. That'd be great. What did he say in the press conference? And I was very skeptical of this, and less skeptical now because of how good they are. He'd say, "Google me, I win."
Okay, sign me up.
Well,
I'm ready. Where's the wall? Where's the wall?
We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back on Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. You know how fast NFL game days move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is a game changer. With FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. Score just flipped, jump on a new spread or live money line. That wide receiver's heating up. Bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone? Take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all there. It's fast, it's fun, and with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every moment. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and bet the NFL live all season long. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Paid endorsement. All right, Myles Garrett sack record. We talked about potentially defensive player of the year at the beginning of the year. It's like minus, I don't even know right now, to win defensive player. He's going to win defensive player of the year. But the hot debate is Carson Schlesinger versus Nick Emanwori for the defensive rookie of the year. I mean, we'll both say Carson Schlesinger. That's what we will think. You guys know that.
I called it months ago. I got to stick with it.
Absolutely. But when we talk about these guys, obviously Myles Garrett, special season. Carson Schlesinger, special season. I want to give a little bit of light to Devin Bush. I saw you put out a tweet today saying extend him. Multiple defensive touchdowns. Complete game wrecker. He has been exceptional this year, and I think was a huge reason for the Browns' success. That, to me, has to be priority number one this offseason. When you look at people who could potentially be leaving or trade pieces, not head coach or quarterback, I don't know if there's somebody who should take precedent over him.
No. I mean, if you want to find a way to reconstruct Malik Collins' contract, please, by all means, sign me up. I know he's injured, and obviously the question is going to be, is he going to be the same player? But, I mean, you saw what the benefit Myles Garrett had, and just the defense as a whole had with Malik Collins. Now, I'm not putting him over him, but there is one other guy that I would like to get signed. There isn't many that the Browns, I mean, two. Shelby Harris, I think, is valuable.
Yes.
After what he's done. I mean, he's responsible for literally one of our games that we won when he blocked a field goal against the Packers. Is Martin Emerson. I think Martin Emerson with Tyson Campbell and Denzel Ward is nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nightmare in 2023 when Greg Newsome moved over into the slot, and it wasn't even his natural position, and he was so out of whack. Like, I would love to see Tyson Campbell move into that slot position, who's a more lengthier guy, a physical guy. You're talking about a 6'1" guy in the slot. Yeah. I want to see Martin Emerson back up out there. Obviously, the contract issue, I don't know how much money he's going to garnish on the open market, if the Browns will be willing to spend that. Andrew Berry's very confident in his ability to go out there and get defensive backs. So that's going to be one thing that it hurt to see leave. But Devin Bush, I won't say give him a blank check, but I would give him a range and be like, how many years, what money do you want? Because I don't want to break him and Carson up. Again, what's broke, don't fix.
Exactly. What about the offensive side of the ball? Is there anybody you think they should bring back or should extend? Because I know there's, like I talked about, all three interior offensive linemen are free agents. Obviously, they just extended Jerry Jeudy. There's a lot of question marks in the wide receiver room. David Njoku's a free agent.
Here's a list, guys, of the free agents coming up this season. So check out the names and tell me if any of these guys you think are coming back. Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller.
Was coming back.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, I bet Ethan Posich. I mean, with that injury,
probably not.
Cam Robinson, probably not.
and Posich is 30.
Tevin Jenkins, guys. Jerome Ford, DeAndre Carter. I don't see a single offensive name on this list that's coming back.
Probably not. No. Unless Joel Bitonio wants to play for another year.
I'd be shocked.
I don't think he does.
I would be shocked.
Yeah.
But Jorquez is the one guy that needs to come back.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I wouldn't mind Tevin Jenkins back.
For sure.
He's a swing guy. He can play a couple positions. I think that would be a good addition. What did they pay him last year? 3 something?
$3 million.
I wouldn't mind Tevin Jenkins back. But like everybody else, how can you look at that list and say, yep, let's bring these guys back? Well, I like Jerome Ford a lot.
He's gone. He's been gone.
He took his pay cut and barely got used. Like,
I am so in on Rocket Sanders.
Yeah.
I love that dude. He reminds me of Jamal Lewis. Every time he picks up that ball, I'm like, this dude he's got it. Like we got a 3-headed monster with Dylan Sampson, Judd, and Sanders. So keep them together.
Well, to me, it's whatever it takes to get a decent offensive line in front of you. I mean, I was looking at the pass block grades this season. I believe the Browns were 30th in the NFL holistically throughout the season. It doesn't matter who was playing quarterback out there. They were either running for their lives or they were getting sacked within a couple seconds. By the way, on the topic of sacks, do you think Joe Burrow took a dive?
No, that pissed me off. No.
I don't think so either.
It was a literal signature Myles Garrett sack.
Yeah, he won a second off the line of scrimmage.
I mean, you go back and watch the Myles Garrett sacks that he has had in his career, and you be like, damn, did he jump off sides? Like,
Yeah.
There's a reason why death taxes and Myles Garrett jumping off sides is a thing, and that's because he gets jumps off like that. It was a signature of a sack as you can get. No, he didn't take a dive. This was like, oh, Myles Garrett's coming. Let me. Like you said, there's going to be plays where you're going to have to take a sack. That was one where he was going to have to take that sack.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he was getting off all day on Orlando Brown. And honestly, I looked, Orlando Brown, it's like he's top 10, I think, in sacks allowed in the NFL too, so it's not like he's been protector of the year by any means. I don't know if you also remember, it was almost a full quarter before that. There was a play where Joe Burrow was scrambling to the right out of the pocket. He looked back. He saw Myles Garrett. He wants to take a dive for the sack record. He's just going to fall.
He's going to fall, right. And he ran for a first down. Joe Burrow doesn't run.
And Joe Burrow wants to win. Joe Burrow wouldn't do that. I mean, you listen to him talking the pressers, all this stuff. And who knows? That could have been his last game as a Bengal too. You never know.
You mentioned the hypothetical before, or you trade. What you dishing off for Joe Burrow?
I'm setting my franchise for Joe Burrow.
What if
I'm the Browns.
I mean, we've got 2 firsts this year. You can have our first next year. Well, I mean, we got a second round pick. I mean, with Joe, could you imagine if they pulled off Joe Burrow? And then
I don't think the Bengals would ever do that.
They would never do that. Obviously, we're just having a little fun here. But damn, Joe Burrow. And I mean, damn, you won't even have to go do anything crazy at the receiver position. We saw this dude
I think
throw.
He would.
I mean,
think he needs some help.
We could wait a year. He could make it work. I'm seeing this dude make it work with guys less than. What was his name? Who was at the slots and now he's not even on the team no more.
Oh, I don't know.
For the Bengals.
Oh, Jermaine Burton.
He had Jermaine Burton catching some balls out there.
Jermaine Burton may have caught 4 balls.
That guy was Antonio Callaway before Antonio Callaway. Actually, after him, but
Jermaine, I don't know how.
Jermaine Burton. Yeah, he's been suspended and he got basically kicked off the team. But guys, I got a piece of trivia for you. As we're talking about Myles Garrett's sack record, his first sack game came against the New York Jets, and I believe that was 2017.
Yep,
do you know the quarterback that he sacked? Zay, do you think you know?
I know it.
Okay, Max, do you got a guess for what quarterback he sacked?
2017,
Week 5, October 8th against the New York Jets.
2017 New York Jets.
Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cleveland Browns quarterback Josh McCown.
Why did I think it was Joe Flacco?
Oh gosh,
yeah, right. It looks like him.
I'm not even kidding.
It looked like him back
I threw out this numbers joke. He literally has 4 catches.
It's crazy, dude.
Jermaine Burton. Yeah. I know. I like Jermaine Burton's super talented. So
I mean, Luke Floria did get signed back. Hopefully, we see a little Luke Floria.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so too. But yeah, to me, the Browns are in a spot where, as awesome as it would be to trade for a high-profile quarterback, there's no infrastructure. Oh yeah, that too. But there's no infrastructure. They need pass catchers, linemen. They probably need a number 2 tight end if Njoku's gone, which as sad as it.
I got a source that said from the horse's mouth that he said, "Oh no, that ship has sailed." From David Njoku's mouth, saying that, "Oh, that's already gone. I'm gone." So we'll see if that comes to fruition. It's gonna suck.
He is Cleveland.
He is Cleveland. And I think if David Njoku was one of those guys that came up to him and said, "Listen, I don't want to break the bank with you guys, but I want something," I would hope. And it's probably, if you're not going to keep Nick Chubb, you're probably not going to keep David Njoku. Yeah. And that's the way I'm looking at it. Only thing that sucks is, though, it's like they're too different, though. Like, Nick Chubb is coming off double knee surgery, basically. But David Njoku's still, 26, 27?
No, I think he's older.
Is he that older now?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's 27, right? He was
Njoku's 29 years old.
Oh, 29. I was going to say, he came into the league.
And he'll be 30 before training camp.
Oh, okay. So maybe my years are a little bit off. I'm still thinking of young David Njoku. I just remember he was 21 when he came into the league, right?
And he was young. You mentioned it. It may have been over the summer. He looked like he slowed down a little bit.
He put on that weight.
We were so spoiled by Harold Fannin Jr. this year that I think we overlooked how big of a dip.
Oh, it was a drop off.
Production took.
It was catastrophic. I mean,
and he was injured. That was absolutely part of it, but it took a pretty big dip, a noticeable dip.
I mean, David Njoku was as fit and chiseled as just one of those guys where you're looking to be like, yeah, I'd have my shirt off too.
Yeah.
But then when I looked at him at training camp, I'm just like, listen, I was a guy who was fit at one point, and I know when fat is starting to come. Like that's why I went right to myself. Like I know what that belly looks like. Like that you're looking at a little husky guy himself. So I'm very familiar with how that transition works. And he was on the way, and I can't remember what game it was, but I think it was when he came back from the injury the first time. He's like, I've been eating lesser or something like that. I'm trying to lose some weight, and like he just said it. So I don't know if there was something personal going on with in his life, because I think he said that there was something going on, which we haven't talked about. I don't know did you watch Shedeur Sanders' press conference? There's something going on with him.
No,
I don't know what it is, and I called it out on the broadcast Sunday. I'm like, damn, this don't look like the Shedeur that we were used to seeing. And then he came out in the presser that day and talked about how he was just going through mental stuff. He said Q had even came over a few days prior to speak life into him because he was going through some stuff. So hopefully something's not going on with Prime or something like that. But there was definitely something going on. So hopefully there wasn't something going on with David Njoku either, because for a guy who was a swimsuit model, I mean, you going down the wrong path now.
I know. Yeah. Again, I hope, like you said, if he's healthy and he's able to contribute to the offense, and he goes to the Browns and says, look, I don't want to break. I'll take a pay cut to be here, be a leader, be a lesser down guy, which is what he turned into.
You know where he's going to go?
What do you think?
Just think. There's one team that makes the most sense in the entire world.
He's going to Kansas City.
And
he's going to Kansas City. I'll cut right in line on that one. I'm next. He's going to Kansas City.
You think about Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes is going to get my good, and you're talking about you go from Travis Kelce to personality to David Njoku personality. It's seamless, bro. And
you know what another part of that is we all noticed Travis Kelce slow down these past couple of years. He wasn't great this year, but like last year, still meaningful and contributing in big games.
Could he be our tight end too? Could Travis, he end his
Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce.
That'd be really cool.
Listen, he reeled in on Cleveland. He always talk about Cleveland. He said it would always be nice if I played a year in Cleveland.
I think he also is real in on being done.
I mean, listen, if the rumors were true, him and Taylor Swift were building a $2 billion house or however many house right there in Cleveland. I'm just saying, you want to ride off into the sun. It may not be the prettiest sunset, but you know what Lake Erie got to offer for you, brother. Hey.
Yeah. I do think it'd be really cool if he were to finish his career here. It would straight up be for the love of the game.
For the love.
Yeah.
And cool. That's what's beautiful. And I'm glad you said that, because that would be the beauty of why it would make sense. We know Travis Kelce's days are behind him, but you're telling me there would be
I don't know.
There would be no question. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not talking about fully behind you. But there would be no question that it's not like he's coming here for the bread. He's coming here because he's Cleveland. He's Cleveland.
He wants to give back to the city. Let me ask you right now. You need a tight end too, strictly based off talent. Next year, Dave Njoku or Travis Kelce? I know who I'm taking.
You'd be dumb not to say the best, arguably the best tight end in the league. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, I was making sure.
That's why you say if you're saying talent only, I think I hold morals and values though. I think David Njoku. I would probably, if you didn't just say talent, man. But it's a good thought, because
Njoku's like what, 5 years young? I don't know how
younger. I'm just talking about the ties. Like, as much as David Njoku is Cleveland, I mean, we got a guy who's in Kansas City who talks about Cleveland just as much.
As if he lives here.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm taking Travis, though.
Me too. I think that's a very interesting hypothetical. We'll keep you guys updated on that as the offseason goes. But we were
What's the odds on that?
full in the head coaching swing carousel. Maybe by the next time we record, we'll have a head coach.
No.
If not,
we won't.
We will definitely have some interviews. You don't think so? I think dominoes will have fallen, though. I think guys will have gotten off the market.
I think dominoes will fall depending on what teams get bounced this week. And now there have been 9 teams that have made inquiries on John Harbaugh, which means that there are multiple teams that still have a head coach.
Somebody, it may have been Diana Rossini, said the Dolphins. I'm trying to think who else could have made those calls.
I'm trying to think who else was in that boat. Yeah,
well, Tampa has a head coach. I don't know my gosh,
they are done. I know. I follow a couple Tampa guys. They are
dumpster fire.
Done with Bowles.
I don't blame them. Dumpster fire there. But there's one more team. I mean,
it's probably Tampa.
But one more on top of that.
Does Tampa become the number? Would you rather go? Well, where does Tampa fall in best jobs to go?
Probably
after the Ravens. Do they become number 2 instantly?
I think I'd rather have be in Atlanta than Tampa.
I'm not gonna doubt you because I didn't hear no one talk about the Rams before you, and you were so in on the Rams.
Well, yeah,
and you may be on to something with Atlanta.
The thing with Atlanta is like Bijan is literally might outside of Myles Garrett might be the most talented player in the NFL.
More than Gibbs, you think? You like him more than Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, it's close, but close. Drake London, if he can stay healthy, is unreal. Kyle Pitts probably just gonna get franchise tagged.
I don't know if he plays on the tag. Walks?
Well, if he gets tagged, he can't really walk. He could request a trade. I think they try to buy an extension. I don't know. I don't mind Penix. People hate Penix a lot. I really don't mind Penix, but still quarterback issue there. Solid offensive line. Their draft class this year, granted they gave up an extra first-round pick. Unbelievable. Like, oh my gosh, their draft
better than ours?
So good. No, because I think Brown's got both sides of the ball. Their defense is unreal. Or the defensive draft class, I should say. Decent linebackers, pieces in the secondary. To me, there's a lot of potential in Atlanta, and it's in the NFC South. Tampa and the Giants will probably be close, though. I'd say.
I mean, Tampa's
secondary is Giants secondary is so bad too, but Tampa's secondary has been so bad.
I was gonna say, in their offense, while it's still good right now, it's on
sputtering.
The back end.
Yeah.
It's getting on that back end there. It's interesting to see because I still think it's weird because while we do have the pick of the litter, I mean, there's still some teams. The Steelers lose.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. You keeping them? Like I don't know.
I think so.
I think I'm agreeing with you, but I could see a world where it's like, you know what?
You know what I do know for a fact, though? All those people who are happy about the Steelers win against the Ravens are going to be on the fire Tomlin train if they get blown out.
Oh, 100. That's why I'm wondering. And you think about the offseason, you had fans buying billboards, talking about fire coaches and stuff like that. Like,
come on,
they're barking on the door of Cleveland Browns territory. Their fans are turning.
Fans are gonna like
that. That's why I keep telling them the crumble is going to be so great. It's going to be so glorious when we get to see it because their fans are doing what Browns fans have been doing for decades. They are turning into us, and I can't wait for it to happen. So go ahead, drop the ball, get blown out. Matter of fact, get blown out, and let's go ahead fire the coach so y'all can see that the grass is not going to be greener over there because we got the grass over here. It ain't what you think it is.
Before we sign off, any fun wild card round predictions?
Can we pull up the wild card real quick? You got the wild cards?
I hate to be a square here, but I do think most, if not all, the favorites are gonna win.
Really? I don't think Vegas is gonna let that happen.
Oh no way! I'm sure teams will cover, but
no. I don't think Vegas is gonna let that happen.
Okay.
I mean, just think about it. There's gonna be some. I do think we're in for a treat. I do think that this is gonna be
that Bears-Packers game. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, guys, we'll throw this up here. We got Rams, Panthers. That would be an interesting one. Packers, Bears, Bills, Jaguars. I'm taking the Bills on that one, guys. 49ers, Eagles. I'm taking the Niners in that one. So I'm with Zay here, guys.
I didn't realize the Bears were dogs. I think the Bears will win. But
Chargers, Patriots. That'll be interesting.
Oh, I didn't realize
Texans,
Steelers were dogs either. Oh, dude, I'm all over that.
We might need to do, guys, for next week.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Hot take. Y'all not gonna like it.
Don't say it.
I think the Bills get upset.
I would like that.
I think Trevor
wouldn't even be an upset.
And the only reason why I got that sentiment is because that pick gonna keep getting lower and lower, and it would be so that. And then it's just like that could be the other coach.
Wow, that would be
McDermott, because he's been on that conversation.
That's Harbaugh territory.
And that's why Harbaugh, the domino's not going to fall until some of these teams fall to know if they can go there or not.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me you can go from Lamar Jackson, same draft class, to Josh Allen.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
If that job comes open, but we'd have to see how that goes. But I think the Jaguars could pull the upset there.
I hope you're right. Well, not for the Browns pick, but I really do.
Oh, yeah, the Giants is talking now.
No, I like the Jaguars. I also think
Greg Newsome, shout out my boy.
All of this was without Travis Hunter, by the way.
Yep.
Pretty much all of it was without Travis Hunter.
All right, Pat. You could have stayed back there, all right?
That's crazy to think about, though, for the Jaguars.
It is. I mean,
guys,
that just goes to show you how valuable a coach is.
Yes, absolutely.
And a draft pick.
And Liam Cohen rocks.
Liam Cohen Duval.
We appreciate you guys watching and listening. We'll see you next time on our Lanze. Take us home.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.